Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. So those beautiful pictures were courtesy of our own community member, New Phone Who Dis on Twitter. But they're not just random. Tesla is hosting an Earth Day photo contest in the mobile app. The winner or winners will get 3,500 credits deposited into the loot box. Tesla Japan tweeted out that the Model Y long range is now available for order. Back in September of last year, the rear-wheel drive and the performance variants became available. Now they're adding the third model to that list. Checking the Japanese configurator, scrolling down, looking at the Model Y, you do see the long range is available. Expected delivery May through June of this year. The price for the long range is 6.7 million yen, which translates to about 51.3 thousand US dollars. But you may have seen this CEV subsidy, so if people qualify, that's an additional about 5,000 US dollars off the price. Along similar lines, the Model Y configurator is now live in Turkey, or as I like to say, Turkiye. Honestly, it's about time because this one has been in the works for the last few years. Given that we have Berlin here and Turkey here, it would make sense for some of this increased production capacity at Berlin to now be able to make its way to Turkey. Turkey is an interesting market though. This article was from 2016 when there were a few hundred Tesla owners at the time, and they were begging Tesla to actually install some service centers and superchargers in the area. For a while, the closest service center was over 1,000 miles away. Looking at the Tesla map for Turkey, it seems as though they have 4 supercharging locations up and running, with a few others planned as well, but I'm still not seeing much in the way of official service. As Tesla Charging tweeted today, it looks like there are 30 stalls total currently available in the country. Here we're looking at annual vehicle sales for Turkey going back to 2005. So as you can see, it's hovered between about 500,000 and 1 million every year. So if in time Tesla can hit a 20% market share, that would be between 100 and 200,000 potential Tesla sales in this market. Looking at the Turkish configurator, just translated to English, you'll see prices displayed are estimates. The exact price will be provided closer to delivery. With that disclaimer, you'll see that the base rear-wheel drive Model Y starts at 878.1 thousand lira, which is equivalent to about 45.6 thousand US dollars. Yes, these prices are estimates and exclude certain taxes, but even the performance model is listed for about 52.5 thousand US dollars. And one more, looking at the Australian configurator, you'll now notice that the long range variant is finally available. Again, the rear wheel drive and performance variants have been available now for a bit, but now the trio is complete. The estimated delivery date for the long range is June to July this year. As we've been saying as of late, it's shaping up for 2023 to be the year of the Model Y. We got our Tesla China weekly insurance data for the last week of the quarter. Tesla's number was 14,275. If you wanted to compare it to the last week of Q4, that number was 4,338. BYD's number was 46,218, and comparing to the same week in quarter 4, that number was 55,706. However, BYD was up week over week while Tesla was down week over week. Here is that data in bar chart form for Tesla. We're not going to stay here, so pause if you'd like. But as I mentioned, the last 2 weeks would most likely see a decrease because each of the past 2 quarters, we've seen that same phenomena. Here's the bar chart for BYD, and I'm sure you would notice a fairly steady increase and recovery throughout quarter 1. They still have yet to reach the levels previously seen in Q4, but they're headed the right direction. We also got CPCA data for Tesla's wholesale, which is both retail and exports for the month of March, 88,869. Plugging that data in right here, yes, this becomes the second best month for Tesla out of China ever when it comes to the wholesale number. The previous high was back in November when they did over 100,000. Again, when it comes to the total or the wholesale number, when it comes to Q1, this is the best quarter from Tesla ever, beating the previous high, Q4. We'll get the official breakdown between domestic and exports here in a few days, but I just plugged in this estimate using the weekly data. That should get us into the neighborhood, meaning Tesla is likely to have a new record for domestic deliveries, and about 33% of Tesla's global deliveries would actually be delivered in China in Q1. This 229.3 thousand is of course the wholesale number, so doing the math, that's about 54.2% of Tesla's global deliveries in Q1 that actually were built at Shanghai. However, I think this 33% number is a great number for everybody to know and keep track of, because there's that narrative out there that Tesla is so reliant on China, it's basically a Chinese company, when in Q1 only 33% of Tesla's global deliveries actually went to the domestic Chinese market. The wholesale number year over year is up 25.8%, and just for the month of March, again year over year, that number is up 35%. Most of you guys already know I'm a big fan of Athletic Greens. It's pretty simple. It's just a quick and easy way to make sure that I'm getting a baseline of nutrition no matter what's going on with my diet week to week. Personally, I haven't been traveling as much as of late, but I know that some of you do, and in that case, these travel packs come in handy, saving you from eating airport food. One of my favorite people out there right now, Andrew Huberman, is actually a scientific advisor for AG1.
Lex Friedman, who takes no supplements. He lives on me, Athletic Greens, Element, and mint tea.
Well, yeah. Those are all good.
And
Element's a good supplement. Athletic Greens is awesome.
I actually first tried it out as a way to support Lex Friedman. In every serving, you're getting 75 different vitamins, minerals, and probiotics. Just have a look at the ingredients yourself. It's pretty self-explanatory. AG1 is certified by a third-party NSF, so you can actually know that what's on the label is actually what you're going to get. Most people don't know this, but every time you buy Athletic Greens, you're actually helping to support their partnership with No Kid Hungry, feeding kids in need. And yes, trying Athletic Greens would be a great way to support the channel. Plus, AG1 is still offering 5 free travel packs and a 1-year supply of vitamin D3K2 if you use my link in the description below. We also have a rumor circulating that a Chinese media outlet, 36KR, said Tesla is planning 4 million units of annual production capacity for the lower priced next gen vehicle. They're calling it a smaller Model Y, but it's really just the next gen platform we've all been talking about. They're saying Tesla's North American factories will take on 2 million units of capacity, most of that coming from Monterrey, the new Mexican plant. I would imagine Giga Austin will take on some as well. Then 1 million each will go to both Berlin and Shanghai to get to the 4 million unit capacity annually total. I'll just put it out there, I've been doing this for a while now, and I'm not really familiar with this source, so I can't comment on its credibility. Other Chinese publications have, however, picked this up, like Sina Finance, which we've looked at in the past. But this is a prime case of unknown sources and insiders. So yeah, it would be cool to have a rough idea of how many units Tesla is going to be aiming for internally, and maybe this turns out to be true. It's not like it's going to expedite that process at all, but ultimately if the Model Y has a chance of doing 1 million units this year in this environment, then Tesla's next gen vehicle should definitely be able to do a few million every year. Of course, a few years into the future, once all of these factories are either built and or scaled. Sticking with the theme of unknown sources, we have Chris Zhang, who's got some things right in the past for sure, citing this source, Caixin, that Tesla is about to start a large-scale test of FSD beta in China. This Caixin source is saying Tesla in the higher end market is about to open in China, starting a wide range of FSD testing. The top part of this image is pretty funny though. It's actually talking about BYD's ADAS features, and it says their L2 has everything, but the experience is far away, far behind the new car making forces, not even as good as VW and Toyota and other traditional fuel-fired models. So this Sai-Sheen source is not too high on BYD's ADAS. With this one, I don't think I really need to talk about the implications of this. Mainly the take rate for FSD could see a significant boost if this indeed is true. Also, just like I think the Model S and X will have a halo effect for the Tesla brand in the Chinese market, FSD being tested by people would again separate Tesla from the rest of the pack, because while FSD is not perfect, it's definitely the closest to actually solving full autonomy. Speaking of FSD, Elon said the team is closing the loop on interventions very rapidly. To get enough training examples for potential serious accidents, we have to run them in simulation, as we have so few in the fleet, despite doing 1 million miles per day of FSD. Don't forget about the power of Tesla's simulations. What would take artists around 2 weeks to create a scene, Tesla found a way to do this in 5 minutes, or 1,000 times faster. This was talked about at Tesla's AI Day. In my opinion, Tesla's lead in autonomy is one of the most mispriced aspects of Tesla stock. So now if we throw in this FSD technology being opened up to an entirely new market, the biggest car market in the world, that's definitely not a trivial matter. We got a neat infographic from EV adoption on Twitter. Listen to this stat. In Q1 of this year, Tesla has installed 59% of all new DC fast charging ports in the United States. EV adoption is using the term port to equate to a stall. On LinkedIn, Tesla's general counsel Brandon Earhart said Tesla is building something unique, a full-scale internal litigation and trial team that can handle all aspects of litigation and trial work, including briefings, hearings, discovery, depositions, and trials, completely in-house. Go ahead and add one more thing to Tesla's vertical integration list. Indonesia has lowered the value add tax on electric vehicles from 11% down to 1%, so this will effectively serve as a 10% discount. This will remain in place until the end of the year. Last year, we talked a lot about how LFPs are set to take over the EV space. Well, I really like this chart from Bloomberg comparing LFP use in the gray in 2019 compared to where it's at so far this year, approaching 50% of the market. One drawback of this, though, is that BYD and CATL are accounting for as much as 99% of global production of LFP cathodes last year. And now we have both Ford and Tesla looking to set up shop in North America, partnering with CATL for that LFP technology. Ford just reported 456.9 thousand sales in Q1 in the United States, up 10.7% year over year. More importantly, Ford's EV sales were up 41% year over year. The number of EVs sold for Ford was 10,866, and 4,291 of those were F-150 Lightning. They say they're on track to hit an annual production run rate of 150,000 this year. Not they will produce that much this year, but get to that rate by the end of the year. I'd also point out the Mach-E sold 6.7 thousand units in Q1 of last year, and that was down this year to 5,400 for Q1. For electrified purposes, Ford a bit disappointing with only about 2.3% of the quarterly sales being electrified versions. A couple weeks back, we talked about GM offering some salaried employees buyouts, and it turns out that 5,000 of those salaried employees took the deal. Today, Mary Barra said that in addition to a few hundred job cuts, have provided about $1 billion in their goal of saving $2 billion this year. Keep in mind, for those buyouts, GM is set to take a $1 billion hit in the first quarter. Don't forget, check out AG1 linked below. Grab those freebies if you're interested. You can find me on Twitter at DylanLoomis22. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did, and a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.